Be careful with how much you give it. That's all I'm saying. Be careful with how much you are giving and how much you are pouring into that man, into that relationship, into that friendship. If you are giving and you are not receiving, and you are not being watered, and you are not being covered, you are giving yourself into a hole of lack, a hole of depression, a hole of regret, a hole of frustration, because life isn't like that. Well, it shouldn't be. You shouldn't be just giving till you done, you empty, you dried up, and you ain't receiving nothing. You ain't being watered, you ain't being restored. And a lot of us fall in that trap in putting ourselves second, putting ourselves third, or putting ourselves last, giving to everybody, the husband, the kids, the finances, the house, and nothing in return but a good dick. Ain't nothing in return. We more than a hole. We more than some pussy juice. We more than that. If you are not being validated, if you are not being cared for, if you're not being supported, if you're not being loved and showered, if you're not being massaged and well taken care of, you need to be mindful of how much you're giving. And you know when you're giving too much, when you're constantly tired, exhausted, frustrated, unhappy, void, lonely in a whole marriage, in a whole relationship, you feel like you are never enough. Constantly give, but never receiving. Be careful. Be careful. Don't find yourself in that trap. Look at yourself in the mirror. Just look at yourself in the mirror and go back and look at the photos you took before you got into this relationship. Go back and look at the videos. Listen to your mother. Listen to your family when they say, babe, you changed. You're not the same. And they're not saying it in a bad mind way. They're saying it in a concerned way. You are not the same. You're not vibrant like you once was. You're not joyful and happy like you once was. You're giving too much. You're giving too much. Maybe it's time for you to embrace singleness. For you to embrace a season of isolation until you find what you need to do. Figure you out. And a lot of people go into isolation, but they ain't doing a damn thing. You isolated, but you still ain't doing a damn shit. You ain't doing a damn thing. You ain't restoring your health. You caught up in mix up in drama. You ain't restoring your love. You ain't restoring your heart. You ain't restoring your soul. You caught up in a lot of bullshit. But to isolate and to be restored is a whole nother story. It's a whole nother encounter. It's a whole nother doing, right? When you back the fuck up and you start pouring into yourself. Because sometimes, here's the thing, we cannot depend on some people to pour into us. Sometimes we need a whole new circle. Sometimes we need a whole new environment. Sometimes we need a whole new church, a whole new atmosphere to truly be poured into. And some people think the church is just a building where a bunch of religious people. No, a church can be your family. A church can be your friendships. A church can be your workplace. A church can be a social group that you found outside of every religious thing. But you got to figure yourself out. Before you start back pouring, start pouring into you. Start looking into you. Start figuring you out. Start eating better. Go on those walks. Journal. Pray. Read the good book. Read a good word. Read something. But start with you, baby. Start with you.